7, Janet Leaper.
No supplementary.
Question 8, Tirza Waisel.
Yes.
Yeah, because my friend Barbara pointed out my name is Tirza Waisel. Yeah, my question referred to the confusion which sometimes seems to me deliberate between personal budgets and direct payments, and indeed in your written answer you confirmed what I already knew. The idea behind personal budget was perhaps right and correct, but it was never really intended to serve people with a limited capacity to manage their own affairs. It turns out that not only it is not advantageable for the individuals, but now it turns out that it also upsets the balance sheet of the service providers. So, since we know for a fact it is possible for local authorities to provide services directly for service users through their personal budgets, people do not have to accept the personal budget in the form of direct payments.
Excuse me, what's the question?
I'm getting to it. I have to give you the background. But if the council would have just gone on providing the services from the individual service users' personal budgets, there would have been no loss incurred. So my question is whether you can please explain what was the logic behind the decision to transfer all service users with learning disabilities to direct payments rather than keep providing directly the good quality services they had enjoyed and just funding them from the personal budget. And would you consider reversing this decision in the new circumstances that came to light now as to protect both the service users and the services? If you will just bring back in-house what you outsourced to your choice, it will solve the problem. It will, because you base the whole outsourcing on the premise that they have to use direct payment. If they don't, there is no problem. The question is, would you consider reversing the decision to move people with limited mental capacity, i.e. learning disabled people, to direct payments? They don't need direct payments, they have personal budgets, it's completely sufficient. Would you consider reversing the decision to transfer learning disabled people onto personal budgets, onto direct payments, I'm sorry?
That was not part of the consideration of the Task and Finish group, and that would be a decision for the cabinet member and the cabinet themselves. And this is an overview and scrutiny committee. It doesn't have the power to make those sort of decisions or even recommendations.
Would you recommend it as a Task and Finish group? Being that this is a fundamental problem, would you recommend it?
I'm not going to comment on that because it wasn't something that the Task and Finish group recommended, and whilst I will happily present the report, I'm not going to make up ideas that give comments on things that the Task and Finish group didn't consider.
We were told you were examining bringing back the services in-house. This is part of it.
Can you turn your mic on, please, Rodney?
With all respect to what Councillor Salinger said, could I offer to explain to Tirza outside of this meeting the distinction between personal budgets and direct payments and what the situation is about service users having choice of either?
I'm a social worker, Mr. Costa. I know full well the difference between them and the confusion that you are causing deliberately.
Right, sorry, Ms. Waisel. We're going on to the next question.
And without consulting.
Question 9, Barbara Jacobson.
Total lack of respect to the residents of Beacon City.
Hear, hear.
Mr.
timescale for this inquiry so limited that the group felt compelled to use secondary resources, which, not being designed by the group, did not provide them with the thoroughness required.
Councillor Salinger?
I don't know that I can agree with you. Task and finish groups are intended to be short, sharp looks at smallish areas of service provision, and will take their evidence where they can get it in that sort of time frame. The last thing we want with task and finish groups is to have inquiries that drag on for month after month, indeed in some cases for well over a year, before they come to any conclusions. That isn't helpful to the way the council works.
Unfortunately, the answer I was given implied that the time scale was artificially maneuvered to be challengingly short. Are you actually saying that you'd rather have a very short, superficial inquiry just to tick the box than to do the job properly?
I think we can do the job properly.
Sorry, you're actually stopping your members from putting their questions because they
Okay,
have
we
run out
want
of
to
time.
hear this
It's
answer.
I will give
7:35.
way to the next person and I'll be back.
You have been given an answer.
I've been given a reply.
Question number 10, Mrs. Cutler. Mrs. Ruth Cutler. Have you got a supplementary? If you could ask your question, would you mind, Con? Thank you.
The salaries and individual staff members' terms and conditions are outside the scope of this review. If they're not in the report and the new salaries are not there, how can we be sure that the financial report is sound? You just said it was outside the scope.
Councillor Salinger.
Sorry, bear with me a moment because I only got the answers to these questions not long before the meeting started. The salaries weren't considered. I don't know whether Tracy or one of the other officers can comment on that aspect on it. Tracy?
Well, it wasn't, I think in a way the council has to decide kind of whether we are an independent owned by the council local authority trading company or not. I don't think it would necessarily be a good thing for the council to interfere in what we're doing in terms of kind of terms and conditions, as long as they are appropriate. And I think in a way that is what has been happening. So there is regular dialogue with Rodney de Costa, who is the head of council's commissioning. All of the changes that we have made to the services and all of the cost reduction work we have discussed with Rodney, not to seek his approval, because it's the board of your Choice Barnet that need to approve that, but actually to ensure that the council is kept fully in the loop. Some of the changes that we're making to terms and conditions and salaries, we aren't there yet. We've made some changes already in some of the services to the staffing structure, but we are actually working on some further proposals that we will be consulting our staff about and will be seeking approval through our own governance process.
Thank you, Tracy.
So what you're saying is that the financial report
I'm sorry,
has
you've already asked the
to stand
question,
on.
it's been answered. Question number 11. This question is outside the scope of the task and finish group review.
What happens?
Has George Christodoulou got a supplementary? Question 12, Bruce Kissin.
No supplementary question.
Question 13, Janet Leafer.
No supplementary question.
Question 14, Tirza Waisel.
my supplementary question to this, which was about the income you are seeking, because now, of course, you're running the services for disabled people for profit, follows from what you didn't answer, Cabinet of the Sister of Cowles, user of Bills, Barnet Independent Living Centre. And my question is, since, as Mr. Nathan said, that you are not dealing with operational matters of your Choice Barnet here, I understand, but nor did the report, and that is one of my major problems with it. The report also divorced the operational, meaning the quality of service matters, from the finance. And it seems that it dealt only to the finance. So if you are not dealing, if you are not dealing, or the task and finish group rather, didn't deal with the operational matter, but is still seeking, actively bidding for contracts outside the borough, as you said in your written reply. If you're not dealing with operational matters, i.e. the quality of services you provide, how else will you ensure sustainability of your Choice Barnet as a profit-making body? After all, I assume that the contracts you are seeking is for providing attractive services in designated day center that address the needs of people like Carl, like Daniel, like other people here. So how else will the council, who is responsible ultimately for the well-being of these residents here, how will they, through your Choice Barnet, ensure the sustainability of these services?
Thank you.
As far as the quality of the service is concerned, the members of the Task and Finish Group, that all of us were very impressed with the quality of the service at the places that we visited.
Including Bills? Did you visit Bills?
Excuse me.
So the places that we visited, they're listed in the report. The ability of your Choice Barnet to extend its services elsewhere, I don't have a problem with making profit. If they can extend those services and give that quality of service to more people from a wider area, I'd be all in favour of it.
Me too, but they're not. And what quality of service will they offer Flightways or now Bills users?
The question has been answered.
Well, not really, but you never answer them anyway.
Question 19, Barbara Jacobson.